Is this thing live for real or for real? I don't have any followers. I have like 10 followers. Start a poll. Yeah. It's raining right now. Start a poll. Start a poll. Since it's just me on this live, I'm gonna ask myself a question. What should I do about a I don't know what to call him. Is he a tenant or like customer? Okay, I guess that's my question. Is this guy who's living in my house a tenant, customer? I don't know. I don't know if he's a tenant or a customer. It's annoying. He's annoying is what it is. What should I do about... What should I do about someone who don't know how to label? What would you do? What would you do? Chickens. Turkeys. Yeah, I don't know. Trying to think this one through. What would call... Hey, you. Chicken! 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 We're playing tag right now. Chicken! Chicken! Oh yeah, what would you do? We're playing tag. Oh no, I think these two are gonna have babies when they get older. Kumasa with little terror. It's like a love affair. Ooh. Playing games with each other. Huh. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out. Let me just figure out in my own head first and let you guys enjoy the kittens and and chickens and dog way over there. Bella. Whoa. Oh yeah, it's hunting time. So all the animals. You don't like being chased. It's hunting time. They're hunting you. Fly up to the tree. Hang out up there. Tree chicken. Tree chicken. Stay up in safety while it's hunting time, because it's about to be sunset. And that's when the cats start going into hunting mode. But really, they're vegetarians. These cats eat bread, rice, cookies, anything store-bought. So if you want to learn spirituality in the universe, one of the things you have to come do is study cats, because like the Egyptians, they worshipped them, right? And they weren't just, so you silly primitive humans worshiping animals. No, that's the reason. There's a spirituality within the cats that are meant to teach things like meditation and just being content. If you have a cat, house cat, you probably know it doesn't care about the toys you buy it. It cares about the plastic, keeping the toy attached to the display. They care about the cardboard box that you order from Amazon to ship the toy you bought for your cat, and it doesn't care about it. It cares about the cardboard box more. It doesn't need things for a cat to be happy. And yeah, it's perfectly happy just with whatever. There are things to learn from cats as well. They have two modes, and they fully embrace two modes. Cuddle mode, where their claws tuck inside their toe beans, and then they use the soft toe beans to slap each other, to say hey. And then if there's a really, really necessary time, cats can go flink. You know, that's a evolutionary thing. Little bunny rabbits with dragon claws, talons. But that's a spiritual thing. The spirit of the cat, or the tiger, the panther, the jaguar, the cheetah, or not the cheetah. I don't really consider a cheetah. A lion. They all spiritually came to this earth saying, yeah, I want to be half Zen, half meditation, half peace. There's nothing more peaceful than a cat. Wow. But also, cats are violent samurais. Every day they survive, they're happy. Every day they survive, they're happy. Every day They're ready for death as well. There's a lot to study about cats, and this one's the Tao. All these cats wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the Tao. The Tao is impossible to explain. Tao is strength through softness. She soft her way here. She soft her way to prosperity by literally giving in. She would literally sneak into my house with no fear, and when I try to chase her out, she would just roll over and say, "Do your worst." Chase me with what? You gonna do violence? You gonna hit me? You gonna kick me? And she laid over and like said, "Kick me as hard as you want. Do it." I was gonna like slap her to scare her out, but she's showing that it won't hurt her. She's too strong to be afraid of any harm I could do to her. I don't know how this cat learned that trick. The Tao has no fear of death. She wants to live. She's not suicidal. If I push her too far, she will get annoyed and she will use her claws. At the same time, she fears no death. She's the samurai. Here, where there's 1, 2, 3, 4 cats, 5, 6 cats. There's 6 cats that live here on this land. 1 dog, 1 chicken, and 1 human. And this cat here is the most samurai of all of us. Perhaps in the entire world. I've never seen a cat do this. On this planet, this might be, and I'm not being a way of speaking, I'm saying in truth, this might be the biggest samurai spirit on this planet at this very moment. You know what I'm saying? This might be fucking Muyashi, what's his name? The samurai that won something like 60-0 duels with other samurais. He's 60-0 as a samurai katana swordsman. And he wrote all these tenets. He wrote basically like 21 commandments for the ultimate samurai. And most of them were spiritual. It wasn't like train swordsmanship every day, or other ways to prove your strength physically, violently. It was more like live life fully. So you regret nothing and fear no death. Once you've lived life fully, you can die with glee because, I mean, why would you want to continue living? You've experienced it all. Continue living, continue living, continue to live would be very boring after you've lived it all. After you truly lived fully. That's when life becomes boring and the only adventure left is death. So you want to be the most fearful warrior. Imagine you're the warrior that's lived it all fully and you're ready to go. But for one last thing you haven't lived is to the fight of your own death. And what greater death to fully experience than a dual death where I die and I take you with me. Robbing you of the chance to live fully like I have. Oh, how good of a samurai would that samurai be who thinks that way or has that mindset? I honor the reincarnation of the greatest samurai, I believe, is right there. Reincarnation of the greatest samurai that ever lived. Reincarnated as a cat in the middle of nowhere, Brazil, that showed up to teach me if I want it all, if I want to live life fully, I want all the greatest wisdoms ever. I want all the greatest wisdoms of the world that's ever lived. And the same thing that that great samurai studied, uh-huh. We have access to all the world's universe's wisdom from all time, speaking to us all the time, everywhere. What is that samurai's name? Mugashi? I don't know. Uh-huh. So yeah, what am I doing in Brazil? I was online talking about how I moved here for a spiritual awakening, or after a spiritual awakening, um, that basically told me my purpose in life was super important. Super important for me. I thought it was for the world. I knew it was super important. I didn't know for why, but I knew my spiritual awakening was important So I assume because I grew up watching TVs and movies with a hero, they always do something important for the world, the city, the people in the movie we care about. But sometimes maybe it's not for the world, maybe it's for me. Maybe realizing that is why I'm here. To fulfill my purpose, to save my time. This is episode 1 of meditations of medit deep meditations with Magu. Magu is Chinese for Lady Marijuana, Lady Hemp, Lady Cannabis. And I've learned here on the spiritual journey that cannabis was a spiritual medicine, just like peyote is to Native Americans, or ayahuasca is to indigenous Brazilian people, South Americans. Ayahuasca indigenous to Native South Americans. And I believe magic mushrooms were used spiritually in Europe, and the Dead Sea Scrolls talk about that. Look that up. But cannabis, which I don't think anyone knows, was probably discovered 10,000 years ago when the people first made China a kingdom, the first Asian empire that I'm descended from, and Japanese are descended from, and Chinese are descended from, and Vietnamese are descended from. All those Asian countries that look like this spread far and wide, and yeah, we made lots of babies because we were very prosperous. We made lots of babies and kept making a lot of babies. But we were very, very prosperous. Like, so much food, healthiness, free time to make lots of sexing babies. Baby making all day, just making lots of babies. Because we didn't have marriage either. We were free to make babies, healthy babies with lots of connections. But anyways, the first king of that empire of my peoples, we got to start thinking more peoply. First king of my peoples that looked like this was Sheng Nang. he tested every single plant for medicinal values. That's what he spent his life doing. He was a medicine doctor, really. And because he was healing so many people left and right, they were like, duh, he should tell us what to eat. He should tell us what to plant. And duh, it goes on from there. That guy becomes king. And that was the first king of these peoples. And he also discovered cannabis. And cannabis was used by the spirituality of those people because they realized it's a spiritual plant. Back then, they already knew mind, body, and soul. These people were all about Tai Chi, mind, body, soul. They were all about basically that type of yoga. It's Asian yoga. Indian yoga is Asian yoga. They're one and the same. But, you know, there's martial arts, which is fast yoga for dealing with violence. Tai Chi is slow yoga for dealing with inner wars. Your brain being something that controls you instead of you controlling it. That's a war going on inside every day. And a lot of us are losing that war every day, where our mind controls us instead of us controlling our mind. I think 99% of people on this planet right now are, or maybe there's awakening going on the last 4 years, so maybe it's not 99% anymore. Maybe it's 89. Maybe it's 59. Let's be positive. But anyways, most of the world still is controlled by their minds. So they're losing that war. So Tai Chi, slow looking martial arts type of stuff, it's not to be used in actual fighting. Alright? It's to fix your inner war. And once your inner war is fixed, doing fast yoga, doing fast martial arts, MMA, whatever you want to call it, whew, be a beast. But anyways, so we're talking about fast yoga, whatever martial arts you want to mention. Slow yoga, it's windy. Is it about to rain? Slow motion arts, it's like, yeah, inner war. And then there's no movement, and that's Indian yoga, where you just strike a pose in a certain position and you hold it. Indians do that. Asians just sit and meditate. Stillness. No movement, stillness. What happens in no movement, stillness? Complete stillness of the mind, body, and soul. You connect with the source. So that's what real yoga is about. Western yoga about, just relaxation and exercise and kind of psychological depression assistance. Oh yeah. Sorry, I just jumped a little bit of empathy for someone. I smoked a little bit of weed, so one of the side effects is Lady Cannabis Magu is a very empathetic spirit. So I'm connected. It's not mine. Borrowing. I'm borrowing the empathy that I don't have. I'm borrowing empathy that I don't have from Lady Magu, from Cannabis, the spirit that Daoist comes from. Is a Taoist is a book writing about my people's spirituality, which is connection with all living things and non-living things and everything's the entire universe, connecting with the entire universe and all of its truths were written in a book. And in words, it's very hard to explain because words are such limited way of communicating. So, yeah, they tried to put it in words. The guy tried. There's always some guy that tries to put the unspeakable into speakable words. Just create a bunch of chaos in the process. It'd be so much better if all the people that are making wars and being stupid because of their religious texts, their Bible, the Torah, the Quran. It would almost have been better if they were never taught to read. We left them illiterate, and then we just never even bothered to teach them English or whatever languages they grew up learning, just to keep them from becoming obsessed with these books that are filled with junk. Yeah. And they think the truth can be explained in words. Those religious people use those words to say, oh, everything is mine. I'm God's chosen, you're God's forsaken, so let me help God forsake you. Forsake you! Forsake you! Anyways, yeah. So this is this is episode 1 of Lady Magu Diaries, where I borrow empathy, I borrow self-love, and I borrow yeah, that's it. That's what it's like to be high on cannabis in a ritual level. Other people get high on cannabis as a recreational thing. And so they abuse and they use the spirit of cannabis to escape their problems, escape their depressions, or to escape or distract themselves from pain or whatever. But me, I'm using it, yeah, I am using it to distract myself as well. Distract myself from my ego. So I guess everyone picks, Lady Magu helps us distract what we need to extract. Whoa! War games, hunt hours going on for the cats. Anyways, so yeah, I'm distracting my ego right now. I'm distracting myself from my ego. I think it's important to specify, I'm not distracting my ego, I'm distracting myself from my ego. And who is myself? More questions I need to think about. Anyways, episode 1, Magu Diaries, here in Brazil, 2025, be coming up on my 5th year. So I'm just documenting all that I've learned since my spiritual awakening. Where do you define the beginning of the awakening? I mean, everyone else? Depends. For me, the beginning of my spiritual awakening is always now. To me, I need to be more empathetic. More empathetic. All right, I don't know. Is someone client, customer? Oh. Oh yeah, he's a little punk. He's a little punk. Whoa, what is this? Mosquito. But there's a reason he's a little punk. He's a little punk because he grew up in all this society. There are deeply soulless societies. Holy shit. He's a little punk because he's from the most soulless society. Wow. Who is the most soulless? Who is the most soulless country? Now, what do I want? Do I want war against them? Is that where we want this to go? War against them is against the U.S. U.S. is part of them and they're part of the U.S. Israel is U.S. in disguise. It's a shell company. It's a shell company for the U.S. to do dirty. Israel's a shell company of U.S. Holy shit. The banks are even using their own people as sacrifice to war profiteering. Let's remember what that is. War profiteers are the banks making money off of creating war and conflicts. And Israel exists, conflict, so they created a religion. No, how genius, no, they couldn't have. That's some Satan level genius. No human could think about this. To plan centuries. I mean, how many thousand years would have had to pass before evil became so bad and so insidious? How far did the Rothschilds go? Is the money that started in the last 10,000 years, is it the first and last 10,000 years of money? No, they would have found gold money. Because gold money doesn't decay. We didn't have money 80,000 years ago. Money would have always resorted to gold or jewelry. First money was, this is the first session of money, but they made religions. This is how religions make money. Holy shit. They're all making money through usury. The banks and the churches. All right. This I gotta end this. How do I end this?